anything else, so I would like to invite you to have a prayer. So let's pray first before anything else. So I want you to pray and pray attentively. Okay po? So I'm gonna play this one.
Good morning, Lord. Thank you for a new day. Thank you that your compassion is renewed every morning. Great is your faithfulness and your steadfast love, O Lord. I don't know what all is going to happen today and how much I'll get done, but you do. So I give this day to you. Fill me with your Holy Spirit, Father. Energize me for your work, because you know how tired these bones are. Awaken me to the wonder of your salvation, and quicken my spirit to the reality of your work in my life. Lord, my mind is filled with creative ideas, but they're all jumbled. Holy Spirit, come and hover over my mind like you hovered over the waters at creation, and speak order out of the chaos. Help me to cease striving and to trust that you will give me all I need today to do the work you've given me to do. You will be faithful to complete the good work you've started. And as I step out into my day, I declare your sovereignty over every area of my life. I entrust myself to you and ask that you use me however you see fit. This day is yours. My body is yours. My mind is yours. Everything I am is yours. May you be pleased with me today. Amen.
Okay, so amen. So it's good to start our day with a prayer then. Okay pa? So let's continue with the presentation. Okay? So before I start with orientation of the biology or topic, so I just want you to know that these are the teachers, okay, of the grade 8 and of the grade 8 students. So I am here at the center. I am the only man or male teacher in grade 8. So anyway, so just for your okay, so as I said earlier, we're going to talk about biology topics here. So first grading, we've talked about physics. Second grading, we've talked about earth sciences. Third grading, we've talked about chemistry. And for our fourth grading, which is supposed to be the start of our topic today, we are going to talk about biology. So biology is very interesting because when we speak of biology, we are talking about life. Okay, we are talking about living organisms. Okay, from the word itself, bio, which means life, and logy, which means study of. Okay, in summary, that is a study of life. Okay, but study of life is a complex thing. So it focuses on what? It focuses on different branches, different areas of biology. Okay, so including what? So including the structure, function, growth, origin, evolution, and distribution. Okay po? So, there are overlapping sciences under biology class like ecology, okay? Since it talks about organisms with their environment, okay? Also with the function, okay? So, physiology, okay? So, kasama dyan, yung growth and development also includes in this particular, okay? Yung biology, as you may know, it's only a single branch of science. However, it includes, okay? So, it includes varieties of sub-biology sciences. Okay po? Kaya medyo complex din yung biology. Meron kasama pa sa biology yung genetics, ecology, sabi ko nga. So, madami. Sa cytology, mycology. So, madaming sub-branches itong biology. Kaya, it's a complex thing. However, it's fun to know because Because what? It talks about us. Because we are living. Okay? So, let's continue. Okay, so as I said, our fourth quarter topics talks about living things and their environment. Okay? So, I hope you'll enjoy topics under this section. Okay? So, wait lang. Okay, so here are the contents of what we are going to talk under biology. Okay, so magkakaroon muna tayo ng overview. First is we are going to talk about digestive system. Okay, so I know you have knowledge about organ systems like circulatory system, respiratory system. These are organ systems of complex organisms like us, human. Okay, but we are going to focus on the digestive system. Okay po? So yan lang yung focus natin ngayon. Then second thing, we are going to talk heredity. So it's a little bit more of genetics here. Next, third, okay, we're going to talk about biodiversity. Biodiversity means we're going to talk here how diverse an organism in a particular environment and how many species are there in a specific habitat. Okay po? So next, interactions in an ecosystem. So under interactions in an ecosystem, we're going to talk about predation, we're going to talk about intra and interspecific competition, so something like that, mutualism, parasitism, and something like that. But in today's discussion, ano lang tayo, mag-focus lang muna tayo sa digestive system. Okay po? So next, okay, so in under digestive system, which is the first topic in fourth grading, okay? So we are going to focus more of structure and functions. Okay? When we speak of structure and function, they are always correlated to each other. Okay? Whatever will be the function depends on structure. Okay? So, yan, they are always correlated. Okay? So, structure and function. Okay? Yung kayarian niya or yung struktura niya at yung function. Okay? Kung ano yung purpose niya. Okay? So, yan. So, what is digestive system first? So, before we talk with the definition, kasi it's good to start our discussion with the definition. Ano ba yung pagkakaalam niyo, class, sa digestive system? Class, ano ba yung pagkakaalam niyo sa digestive system? Sige nga, if you do have knowledge about digestive system, what's your knowledge about digestive system? Anyone?
Sir, yung mga parang parts sa loob ng katawan?
Oo, sa loob siya ng katawan natin, yung digestive system. Pero ano kaya yung kanyang purpose? Ano ba yung digestive system? Ano kaya, class?
Helps the body digest food.
Okay, very good. Very good, Micaela. So it helps the body to digest the food that we eat. Okay, every day. So that's gonna be the purpose of digestive system, di ba? In different organ system, respiratory system, ang purpose niya is to take in oxygen and take out carbon dioxide out of our body. Okay? So, for circulatory system, that's to circulate the nutrients needed by our body cells to different parts of our body. Okay, so distribution siya yung in a form of blood. Pero class, the digestive system works in a way that it digests our food to make it absorbable and usable by our body. Okay, so that's digestive system. Okay, so it's very important because without digestive system, we cannot get the nutrients we need in our body. Okay, so it processes, it digests the food that we are going to eat into usable form that our body can absorb and use for our daily activities. Okay, so that's what we mean by digestive system. Well, that's the purpose of digestive system. But let's have the definition for that. Okay, so the system of organs responsible for what? For, can you please read? Responsible for? Can anyone read? Responsible for what?
Getting food into and out of the body and for making use of food to keep the body healthy.
Okay, very good for that. Okay po? So it responsible for getting food and hindi lang dapat not only getting food but out of this food, making use of it to keep our body healthy. So how do we keep our body healthy? It's because we get the nutrients from the food we eat. So without processing this food, we cannot get the nutrients we need, and in turn, eventually, we won't be getting healthy in the long run. Okay po? So that's digestive system. So I just want you to know, class, that what do you call this? I just want you to know that there are systems that have digestive system. Okay? So not only it has a soul, what do you call this? Soul function. So meron din siyang katulong other organ systems like what do you have this? Like urinary system. So it works with digestive system. Also with circulatory system. Okay, it works with digestive system. Also central nervous system. Okay, nervous system. It works. Okay, so hindi sila isolated. Okay, they work together with other organ systems we have in our body. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so before we continue, class, so I just want you to have, I just want to know your prior knowledge, okay, prior knowledge regarding, what do you call this, regarding the digestive system. And this prior knowledge will be about the parts of digestive system. So tingnan natin kung meron kayong knowledge. So nakapag-register na ba kayo dun sa link na sinend ko sa inyo? Nakapag-register na kayo? Okay, so tignan natin, class, ha. So wait lang. So yan, so I'm gonna give you time to connect this different parts of the digestive system, okay, to its illustration is indicated in the right portion of the presentation. Okay? Para at least So currently I have 8 out of 16 response. So I'll give you time for that. Okay? So then later on, we're going to check kung ano talaga yung prior knowledge nyo regarding the parts of the digestive system. Okay? Okay, so now that you are done, so we are going to check your individual responses. Okay, so tingnan natin. So how far do you... anyway pala, so I forgot to mention, you can either enter your name in different portion of this slide para at least ma-recognize kayo. Pwede niyo ilagay yung pangalan nyo, okay? Anyway, na-edit naman yan, okay? So, pero if hindi, it's your choice then, okay? So, you can enter your name or not, okay? So, let's try to look at your responses, okay? So, for the first student, so tandaan niyo na lang kung kanino to, So, tingnan natin. This is mouth, correct. This is tongue, correct. Large intestine. Okay, very good. Pancreas. Okay, so the pancreas is here. Okay, so that elongated one. Okay, so anus, yan, yung puwet natin. We have small intestine. Let's trace. Okay, very good. It's the center. Stomach. Okay, very good. That's right. Liver. Okay, very good. Esophagus. Okay, kay Aliyah Azur pala to. Very good, Aliyah. Esophagus. Tingnan natin. Very good. You're correct. Gallbladder. Okay, so that's small pouch. Very good. Pharynx. Okay, just up there, we have rectum, just above anus, and salivary glands. So those are the yellow ones in your mouth. Very good for that. Okay? So, thank you for that, Aliyah. You are correct for all of your responses. Okay? So, how about this one? So, walang pangalan. So, tingnan natin. Pinangalanan niya talaga. So, mouth, tongue, salivary glands, the yellow ones. Pharynx, very good. Esophagus, large intestine, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, that's good. Stomach, small intestine, rectum, anus, appendix. Wow, nilagyan niya pa ng appendix. Very good. Kanino kaya ito hindi nga lang nilagyan ng pangalan. Okay? So, next. Okay, so hindi din nilagyan ng pangalan. So, let's see. Mouth, pancreas. Okay, so this one is the pancreas. Okay po? So, pancreas. So, this part, stomach, esophagus, salivary glands, we have gallbladder. Nasaan yung gallbladder? Okay, so wala kang line. So, dapat dito. Okay? Small intestine, appendix, anus, rectum, large. Okay, very good. So hindi na natin iisa-isa na we get some of your responses. So, tingnan natin kung tama yung pancreas. Pancreas, very good. Liver, gallbladder, esophagus. Okay, so hindi nga lang pinangalanan. Next, walang respond. Hindi nakapag-respond. Ito, dalawa lang. Esophagus, correct. Mouth, correct. Even though dalawa, you are correct. That's good. Okay, so ito naman, mouth, tongue, large intestine. Tingnan natin kung tama. Large intestine. Oops. Very good. Small intestine. Wala siyang sagot sa small intestine eh. Pancreas. Okay, very good. So, kay Charmaine. Okay? So, rectum. Okay, very good, Charmaine. Okay? So, ito dalawa lang. Mouth and tongue. Yun lang yung alam niya. Okay? So, tingnan natin yung iba. Ang gulo nito Dapat ninimpisan niyo lang. Mouth, tongue, large intestine. Tingnan natin. Oops! The large intestine should be... Nakakalito kasi dapat maliit lang. Okay, so itong maliit na to, anus. Okay, very good. You're correct. Okay? So ito yung maganda. I-check. So mouth, tongue. Tingnan natin yung pancreas yung tama. Okay, so this one is pancreas. Stomach. Very good. Rectum. Oops, ang rectum pataas siya. Dapat ang rectum ito sa baba. Okay? Kung kanino man to. Okay, salivary glands. Andun, yung kulay yellow. Those are the salivary glands. Okay? So, anyway. So, we'll continue. Mouth. Tingnan natin yung gallbladder. So, natabunan. Masyado kasing malaki. Pancreas. Ang pancreas po dito sa baba ng stomach, ha? So, kung kanino naman to. Anyway, hindi pa naman tayo nag-start ng lesson proper. Pero alam ko na kung saan nyo yung mga hindi nyo alam. Okay? So, for mouth, we have rectum. Okay? So, we have pharynx. So, pababa, tapos tumaas siya. Okay? So, liver. Hindi kasi masyadong kita. Pancreas, tingnan natin. Okay, correct. Very good. Okay, so ito hindi man din natapos. Hindi din nakatapos, hindi din natapos. Okay, so anyway, so those are just preliminary activities. Okay, so anyway, I will not record your score in this activity. Pero so I have now the knowledge of you about digestive system. Okay, kung saan na yung natin. Okay? So, let's proceed with the lesson proper. Okay, doon na tayo sa lesson proper natin. Okay? So, wait first. Okay, so yan. Okay, I hope you can see the slide. Nakikita po ba yung slide? Can you see now the slide?
Hindi pa po, sir.
Di po.
Hindi pa. Okay, so let me share this. Okay, so yan. So let's proceed with the discussion proper. Okay, so yan, we are going to talk about the human digestive system. So in talking about human digestive system, we are going to talk about your organs related to digestive system, like stomach, like liver, and etc. Okay, so yan. So can you now see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so under this digestive system, we're going to talk about definition of the digestive system. Division, okay, kasi digestive system is divided into different section. Index, that's not part, pero parts and function, okay, diseases. Okay po, ito. Definition, division, parts and function, and diseases. Okay, yun yung magiging natin, cover, okay? Or the content of this discussion. Okay? So, yan, the human digestive system, as well as other vertebrates. Pag sinabi natin class na vertebrates, these are, what do you call this? These are organisms with a backbone. Is described as tube-like. Pag sinabing tube-like, parang merong tubo. Okay, yung digestive system natin. Starting from the mouth, meron siyang connecting line or tube towards your stomach, towards your small intestine, large intestine, up until your anus. So, on each end of the system, there is an opening. Pag sinabing opening, merong papasukan. Ano yung papasukan? Mouth, where food came in, and exit, where food comes out or waste comes out. So, that's gonna be your anus. Okay, merong entrance. Hindi naman tayo kumakain sa puwet, di ba? Kumakain tayo sa bibig. That's gonna be your opening. And nilalabas natin sa puwet, that's gonna be your anus or exit. Exit point of waste materials. Okay? So, in digestive system, we need to understand the process of digestion. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin class na digestion, it's the process where food is broken down into smaller molecules. Okay? Food is broken down into smaller molecules that body can use to nourish the cells and to provide energy. Okay? Kasi yung pagkain na kinakain natin, it's not readily available for our cells. Okay? So, it needs to be digested into smaller molecules that our body can use. For example, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are complex or complex molecules na hindi natin magagamit without digesting it, without breaking it into smaller pieces like monosaccharides or glucose that our body can use. Okay po? So next. Okay, so ano yung purpose ng digestion? To provide ourselves with the nourishment or energy. Okay? In digestion, we have two phases. We have mechanical and chemical. When we speak of mechanical, it's more of factory. Okay? Food is broken down into small pieces by process of chewing, di ba? Kapag kumakain tayo on the very start, sa bunga nga pa lang or sa bibig pa lang natin, so, inunguyan na natin yung pagkain. Okay? So, that's gonna be a process of chewing or scientifically they call it mastication. Okay? Also, in our, what do you call this? In our mouth, we have chemical digestion present. So, food is acted upon by chemical substances called enzymes, like amylase, on food and change them into simplest equivalents which the body cells can utilize. Okay po? So, merong presence of enzymes. Okay? So, pag chemical digestion, there is chemical reaction. Okay? Ano ba yung chemical reaction? So, that's the presence of enzymes in the food that speeds up chemical digestion. Okay? So, merong dalawa, mechanical and chemical. Okay? So, there are two main parts of the digestive system. One is alimentary tract. Okay? Ito yung mga mismong dinadaanan ng pagkain natin. Okay? You call that as alimentary tract. And the accessory organs. Accessory organs works in a way that it helps secrete bile, it secrete enzymes to the food para ma-digest. Okay? So these are accessory organs like liver, gallbladder. So it provides or it helps the alimentary tract with the necessary substances. Okay po? Okay, so yan. So for alimentary tract, it includes what? So mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small and large intestines, rectum, and anus. So kung titingnan nyo, from the very start, mouth, dyan dadaan yung pagkain. Mouth to pharynx, to esophagus, to stomach, to small intestine, to large, to rectum, out of anus. Okay? So for the accessory organs, ito lang yung mga tumutulong, okay? Para ma-digest yung pagkain. Like salivary glands. Okay? Nagre-release siya ng mga saliva. Okay? To break down the food. Liver and gallbladder, nagre-release siya ng bile. Okay? And pancreas. Okay po? So these are accessory organs. Next. Okay, so the human digestive system, there are parts and function. And that's gonna be our focus for today. Okay, so yun yung magiging focus natin. Okay, so yan. So for the alimentary tract, doon na muna tayo. Ano yung mga parts ng alimentary tract? So the first one is mouth. Okay, you know that mouth contains teeth. Okay, as a major the major role of teeth is to grind the food that we eat, especially kapag matitigas like banana, for example. Okay, even nga yung mga small cartilage sa mga buto na kakain ng teeth. Okay po, or nag-grind ng teeth. So po, palate also helps. Okay, so sa palate, yan yung nasa taas, roof ng inyong mouth. Okay, that's the palate. So we have hard palate, yung malapit dito sa outer, and soft palate, malapit na dun sa lalamunan nyo. Okay, so yan, yung soft palate kapag pinag-trigger mo yan, so pwede kang masuka. Okay po? So we have the tongue also. So it helps with the teeth to grind the food. Okay po? So yan, contains teeth, tongue, ducts of salivary glands. So your salivary glands can be present in different parts of your mouth. There is a salivary gland under your tongue. There is salivary gland at both ends of your mandibles, yung panga, and there is salivary tongue on the roof of your dito sa sa taas. Okay? So opposite of the submandibular. Okay po? So food is mechanically digested. Mechanically and chemically. Mechanically because it grinds the food with the teeth, tongue, and etc. We have chemically digestion because there is a presence of saliva, okay, which contains enzymes like amylase to digest the food, okay? So, where food is lubricated and chewed until it forms into a ball shape called bolus, okay? After the food undergoes what do you call this, chewing and mastication with the presence of saliva, you call now the shaped mass called bolus. Bolus na po yung tawag doon, yung parang kadiri something. Okay? So, you call that as bolus. Okay? Next, after the mouth, it passes through pharynx or your throat. Okay? So, located at the back mouth, 5 to 6 inches in length. Okay? So, the common passageway for digestion and respiration. Okay? So it contains sphincter. So in every in every end of your organs or alimentary tract, meron siyang in every start and end of your alimentary tract, meron siyang sphincter. This sphincter allows the entrance and exit of the material para hindi siya magpabalik-balik. Okay? Pag mag-enter yung food, magbubukas siya. Pag hindi dapat magbalik na yung food, magsasara din na siya. Okay? So, yan. So, soft palate. Okay? So, this is your throat under this way. Okay? So, it leads to the esophagus. Okay? So, this epiglottis here is an important part of your throat because it allows the food to enter your esophagus, which is the next part of alimentary tract. Okay po? So, whenever na you're going to swallow food, so it will open the esophagus and it will close the trachea leading to lungs para hindi kayo para hindi mapasukan yung lungs nyo ng kung ano man. Kasi hangin lang dapat ang pumasok niyan. Okay? Paghihinga naman kayo through nose, so ang bubukas dyan class is your trachea. Bubuksan siya ng epiglottis, isasara niya naman yung sa kabila. Okay po? So that's how epiglottis works. Okay po? So then, after your throat, it leads now to the esophagus, which is not present in this presentation. So, esophagus, it's a long tube-like organ which muscle, which primarily contains a muscle and cartilage. So, the main purpose class of esophagus is capable of peristalsis. So, peristalsis is a wave-like action of the esophagus na parang dinudurog niya yung food as it passes by through its tube. Okay po? So, you call that class as peristalsis. It's the series of wave-like action whenever na masense niya yung food na present. Okay po? So, you call that as peristalsis. Okay? So, after in the what do you call this? After the esophagus, before it enters the stomach, okay, meron dyan class esophageal sphincter which opens whenever na malapit nang pumasok yung food into the stomach. So, bubukas yung esophageal sphincter, then mapupunta na siya dito sa stomach. Okay? So, yung stomach na yon, yung sphincter na yung esophageal sphincter, that's gonna close after it enters the stomach because para to avoid what? To avoid backflow. Okay po? So, to avoid backflow of the food. Okay? So, pero kapag nagbukas yan because nasuka ka, so that's gonna be the purpose of it will open kapag nasusuka ka. Okay? Pag hindi kaya ng sikmura mo. Okay po? So, yan. So, there in the stomach. So, stomach is a muscular, okay, elastic, and pear-shaped organ. Okay? That is about 30.5 centimeter long and 15.2 centimeter wide. Okay? 1:2 yung kanilang proportion. So, with a capacity of 0.94 liters in an adult. So, almost a liter. Okay po? So, it contains the fold called rugae where the gastric glands are located. So, lining the stomach, okay, so you can find different gastric glands. Okay po? These gastric glands produces and releases gastric juices that digest the food. What are these gastric juices? So, these are enzymes, these are acids na pwedeng mag-digest the food mo. Okay po? So, you call that as gastric glands. Okay po? So, what are the functions of the stomach? So, aside from it stores swallowed food, it mixes the food with the digestive juice it produces. So, dyan po, most of the chemical digestion nangyayari sa stomach. Even though meron pa rin mechanical digestion kasi part pa yon ng stomach. So, it conveys its contents slowly into small intestine. So, before it transfers the food into the small intestine, dadaan mo na siya sa another sphincter. Okay? Another sphincter which is between small intestine and the stomach, you call that sphincter as pyloric sphincter. Okay? Yung pyloric sphincter, siya naman yung mag-open, okay? Para to allow the partially digested food or the digested food into the small intestine. So, ano naman yung meron sa small intestine? So, the small intestine, it is where, before we, with the small intestine, these are the different cells of gastric glands. We have mucus-secreting cells, we have parietal cells, we have chief cells or zymogenic cells, and G cells. Okay? So, yan. So, after that, we have, halimbawa, yung food na tawag doon class is the chyme. Chyme is semi-fluid. Kung kanina, after mong manguya-nguya with the saliva, ang tawag is bolus. After naman na ma-digest ng stomach, ang tawag naman doon class is chyme. It's a semi-fluid, partly digested food which is the result of contraction. Nagko-contract. Contraction is a mechanical digestion of the stomach and churning of the stomach as it mixes. When it mixes with the food, gastric juices, you call it as chemical digestion. Okay po? So that is a chyme. Okay, so when the chyme enters the small intestine, so small intestine, it is where absorption of nutrients happens. The small intestine is lined with a different pili or villi. You call that as small like hair projections of the small intestine. This is where absorption happens. Okay? Okay, so the small intestine is the organ of complete digestion and absorption. Okay? So that's the longest of all digestive system, which measures 6 meters in long and 2.5 centimeter in diameter in adults. Okay, so divided into 3 sections. What are these 3 sections? We have the duodenum. That's the section just after the stomach. So the curve that. Okay, so duodenum is the shortest and most fixed. We have also classed here the jejunum. Jejunum is freely and movable portion of the small intestine. We have the ileum. Okay, that's the longest and highly coiled part of the small intestine. Okay? So, yun. Na-absorb na ng small intestine. So, complex yung small intestine pero focus lang tayo dun sa basics. Okay po? So, na-absorb na yung small intestine assuming that na-absorb na. Okay? So, it passes through a 6 meter long. Diba? Kasi 6 meter yung nakalagay. 6 meter long na tube. Okay, doon na absorb lahat ng nutrients. Okay, then ang matitira doon class after the absorption and digestion, ang matitira doon class yung mga undigested residues or food like fiber. Okay, yung mga fiber na hindi naman kayang ma-digest ng ano natin ng katawan. Okay pa? So it will come to pass in a large intestine. So remember class that between large and small intestine there is the presence of appendix. Okay po? So nasa right portion, right lower portion of your torso. Okay po? So large intestine, you can also call that as colon. Okay? Kaya kapag nakarinig kayo class ng colon cancer, that is the cancer of a large intestine. Okay po? So 1.5 centimeters in long and 5 centimeter in diameter. So, compare that to the small intestine which is 6 meters. So, masyadong malayo. Okay? So, ano yung purpose ng large intestine? So, di ba, after the small intestine, complete digestion and absorption. So, ang mga natitira na lang yung mga undigested. Yung mga undigested food na yon, you call that class as fecal materials. Okay? It temporarily stores fecal materials and then there is still absorption of vitamins and reabsorption of water. Okay? So, nasa large intestine pa din yan. Parang, kumbaga, yung large intestine, siya yung taga-simot na mga vitamins, na mga minerals na kailangan ng katawan natin. Okay? So, yan. Mabaho na yan yung large intestine kapag binuksan mo. Okay po? So, it's divided into 3 distinct parts. Okay? 3 distinct parts. Okay? So, these 3 distinct parts are the ascending colon. Ito yung pataas after the small intestine. Ascending colon, pataas na yan. Ascending, kaya yung ascending, mag-ascend. Then, transverse colon. Okay? Itong magta-traverse na to, transverse. And the descending colon. Okay? So, it also contains cecum, appendix, and sigmoid colon. Okay? It's near the rectum. Okay, so ito na yung 3 distinct parts which I already mentioned. Okay po? Ascending, transverse, and descending. Okay? So, next, after the large intestine, it will now come to pass to the rectum. Okay? Before it come to pass to the rectum, which is the storage of your feces or stool or yung tae, okay? So, it will come to pass first the rectal sphincter. Siya yung magbubuka to allow the fecal material to enter into the rectum. So it's an 8 inches long and serves as the warehouse for the undigested residue or feces. Okay? Warehouse, stock or parang storage room na lang siya. Okay? Bago kayo matae. So that's gonna be the storage room of your fecal materials. Okay po? That's gonna be the rectum. Okay? So, kung hindi pa puno yung rectum mo, kaya mo bang mapigilan yung tae mo. Pero kung puno na yan, so that's the time that you need to go to the CR. Okay? So, after that, when the brain senses that you need to eliminate your waste, so the anal sphincter will come to open. So, siya na yung mag-open. Okay? So, yan. So, to eliminate the waste of your body. Okay? So, that's gonna be your anal. So, yan. Napaka-weird lang itong picture. Okay? So, the exit part for fecal material. So, that's your anus. Okay? So, yan. Okay? So, these are the parts and functions of the digestive system. So, what about the accessory organs? Kasi yung pinag-usapan natin kanina is for the alimentary tract. So, let's start first with the upper portion. That's the salivary glands. So, meron tayong tatlo as I said. We have the parotid gland. Yung nasa taas yan, no, sa may mga pisngi nyo. Okay? Parotid gland. Okay, so located, we have submandibular, yung nasa panga nyo. Okay? So, mararamdaman nyo naman yan kapag natatakam kayong kumain. Okay? We have sublingual, sa ilalim yan ng dila nyo. Kaya nga, sublingual. Sub means under, lingual, your language, your tongue. Okay? Submandibular, sub of your mandible, yung mga panga nyo. Okay? So, located in the mouth, it secretes saliva, a chemical substance that is a combination of watery fluid and mucus. Okay? Watery fluid and mucus. So, on average, 1 liter of saliva is produced every day. Okay po? So, it lubricates the mouth, aids in swallowing, and digest carbohydrates. So, without saliva, so mahirapan kang ma-digest yung food mo. Okay, so, yan. So, what about liver? Liver is the largest organ in the body. Okay, largest internal organ of the body kasi yung pinaka-large talaga is the skin. It produces bile from bilirubin. Okay, a waste product formed when red blood cells are destroyed. Okay? So, bile emulsifiers fats and neutralizes the acidity of a chyme. Okay? So, it releases at about 500 to 1,000 ml of bile that is stored and concentrated in the liver daily. Okay po? So, next. After the liver, so we have gallbladder. So, gallbladder serves as the temporarily storage of concentrated bile. Okay? So, next is the pancreas. Large, elongated gland, yellowish organ, as indicated in the illustration, that is 18 cm long and 4 cm wide. That's under your stomach. Okay po? It functions as both exocrine. Pag sinabing exocrine is duct-containing gland and both endocrine. So, ductless gland. Okay? So, pag exocrine, it releases the hormones or substances into the tube. Okay? Pag endocrine, it releases the hormones or substances directly into the bloodstream. Okay po? So, exocrine secretes digestive enzymes directly into the duodenum. Okay? Nag-release siya ng digestive enzyme into the duodenum. Yan o. Meron siyang duct. Okay? So, or pancreatic acini. Okay po. So, endocrine, it secretes hormones important for metabolism of sugar. Okay. So, yan. So, islets of Langerhans. Okay. So, kasi yung pancreas, one of the purpose of that is to control the sugar level. Okay. Sugar level in your blood. Okay po. So there are 3 elimination process, okay? Solid, liquid, and gas, as indicated. So feces, your solid waste. So, it can be eliminated by the large intestine. Okay, palabas ng ano mo. So, we have also urine and sweat, excess water that exits the body. So, those are waste material, yung ano niya, yung sweat and urine. And carbon dioxide in a form of exhalation or release of carbon dioxide through the air. Okay, but also farting. Okay, so it releases also carbon. Okay po. So next. Okay, so these are the human digestive system diseases. Okay, so we're going to talk about that briefly here. Pica is an eating disorder characterized by persistent desire or appetite for substances with no nutritive value. So you are eating paper, which is not supposed to be a food for you kasi wala naman siyang nutrients. You are eating something like plastic, etc. You call that disorder as a pica. Okay, it's also associated with psychological disorder. Next, we have heartburn, also known as the acid reflux. Yung parang feeling mo ang init ng puso mo kasi you are having heartburn. It occurs when the stomach acid splashes out of the stomach. Okay, so there's so much acid in your stomach. Okay, kaya heartburn ang tawag. So, as indicated by the G I have here. Okay po? So, yan. Nagbubukas yung esophageal sphincter. Okay po? So, as heartburn or acid reflux. Next, we have flatulence or excessive farting. Okay po? So, that means there is an excess gas molecules in your digestive tract. So, next, indigestion or dyspepsia, condition caused by food stagnation. So, hindi nag-move properly yung food inside your alimentary tract. So, you call that as indigestion or dyspepsia. Colitis, from the word itself, colon, and is means inflammation. That's the inflammation of your colon. Okay po? So, yung mga may IS, colitis, arthritis, which means inflammation yon. Okay po? So, constipation, so your stool or feces is too dry for it to pass through your alimentary tract. So, a condition where fecal material or stool is compact, dry, and difficult to discharge. Okay, so it takes you more effort to discharge your fecal materials or waste. Okay pa? So, next. So, I'm gonna show you this video to give you the summary of our discussion today.
Across the whole planet, humans eat on average between 1 and 2.7 kilograms of food a day. That's over 365 kilograms a year per person, and more than 28,800 kilograms over the course of a lifetime. And every last scrap makes its way through the digestive system. Comprised of 10 organs, covering 9 meters, and containing over 20 specialized cell types, this is one of the most diverse and complicated systems in the human body. Its parts continuously work in unison to fulfill a singular task, transforming the raw materials of your food into the nutrients and energy that keep you alive. Spanning the entire length of your torso, the digestive system has 4 main components. First, there's the gastrointestinal tract, a twisting channel that transports your food and has an internal surface area of between 30 and 40 square meters, enough to cover half a badminton court. Second, there's the pancreas, gallbladder, and liver, a trio of organs that break down food using an array of special juices. Third, the body's enzymes, hormones, nerves, and blood all work together to break down food, modulate the digestive process, and deliver its final products. Finally, there's the mesentery, a large stretch of tissue that supports and positions all your digestive organs in the abdomen, enabling them to do their jobs. The digestive process begins before food even hits your tongue. Anticipating a tasty morsel, glands in your mouth start to pump out saliva. We produce about 1.5 liters of this liquid each day. Once inside your mouth, chewing combines with the sloshing saliva to turn food into a moist lump called the bolus. Enzymes present in the saliva break down any starch. Then your food finds itself at the rim of a 25 centimeter long tube called the esophagus, down which it must plunge to reach the stomach. Nerves in the surrounding esophageal tissue sense the bolus's presence and trigger peristalsis, a series of defined muscular contractions. That propels the food into the stomach, where it's left at the mercy of the muscular stomach walls, which pound the bolus, breaking it into chunks. Hormones secreted by cells in the lining trigger the release of acids and enzyme-rich juices from the stomach wall that start to dissolve the food and break down its proteins. These hormones also alert the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to produce digestive juices and transfer bile, a yellowish-green liquid that digests fat, in preparation for the next stage. After 3 hours inside the stomach, the once shapely bolus is now a frothy liquid called chyme, and it's ready to move into the small intestine. The liver sends bile to the gallbladder, which secretes it into the first portion of the small intestine, called the duodenum. Here, it dissolves the fats floating in the slurry of chyme so they can be easily digested by the pancreatic and intestinal juices that have leached onto the scene. These enzyme-rich juices break the fat molecules down into fatty acids and glycerol for easier absorption into the body. The enzymes also carry out the final deconstruction of proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into glucose. This happens in the small intestine's lower regions, the jejunum and ileum, which are coated in millions of tiny projections called villi. These create a huge surface area to maximize molecule absorption and transference into the bloodstream. The blood takes them on the final leg of their journey to feed the body's organs and tissues. But it's not over quite yet. Leftover fiber, water, and dead cells sloughed off during digestion make it into the large intestine, also known as the colon. The body drains out most of the remaining fluid through the intestinal wall. What's left is a soft mass called stool. The colon squeezes this byproduct into a pouch called the rectum, where nerves sense it expanding and tell the body when it's time to expel the waste. The byproducts of digestion exit through the anus, and the food's long journey, typically lasting between 30 and 40 hours, is finally complete. TED-Ed is a nonprofit.
Okay, so thank you for that. So our time is going to end. So we are going to have our next discussion